Delaware's transit service, moving forward.
New tonight, a Delaware community is still reeling after a tragic shooting ending in the death of an 18-year-old that left 2 others injured while the suspect remains at large. Plus, jurors have been chosen for the trial of the so-called beast, suspected of several killings here in Delaware and in Pennsylvania, including his own mother. And Delawareans are in for a bit of a reprieve in their utility bills for now, amid concerns over potential oil price surges due to the Israel-Hamas conflict. Those stories and much more coming up tonight on DETV News. Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for being with us tonight. Making headlines today, schools in Laurel are reopened today after a shooting in the community left 1 teenager dead and 2 other teens hurt. There was an increased police presence in schools today, as well as counselors available to students. Schools in the Sussex County community were closed Monday after 3 teens were shot at West 7th and Center Streets in Laurel Sunday afternoon. An 18-year-old boy had died, and a 15-year-old as well as a 13-year-old boy were taken to the hospital in stable condition. Police have not released any information about a possible suspect or a motive. Anyone with information is asked to call police. And state police have identified the victim of a fatal shooting in Selbyville as 21-year-old Abriana Ingram of Milford. Just before midnight on Saturday, police responded to a reported shooting in the parking lot of a strip mall on DuPont Boulevard. Police say a fight had broken out during a Halloween party and attendees were asked to disperse. The fight then continued into the parking lot where Ingram and a 30-year-old Seaford woman were shot. We're told the 2 victims were not involved in the fight. The suspect fled the scene and is still at large. Ingram was taken to a nearby hospital where she died. The other victim was treated and released. Anyone with information is asked to call state police or send them a private Facebook message. The information that you give them can remain anonymous. And police have found the driver of a pickup truck who they say ran away after a deadly hit-and-run crash near Smyrna after his truck caught fire early Monday morning. The pickup truck driver is a 23-year-old man from Smyrna who police have not charged as of yet as they continue to investigate the crash. Police have also identified the victim of the crash as 71-year-old David Lister of Henderson, Maryland. A pickup truck and a car collided head-on, and this happened on Wheatley's Pond Road. The pickup truck landed on the driver's side and then caught fire. The car spun around and crashed into a utility pole, as you see here. Police said it is not clear which driver crossed the center line of the road before the crash. They asked that anyone who may have witnessed the crash or has any information is asked to call 302-698-8451 or call Delaware Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIP-3333. And the trial of a suspected serial killer who calls himself the Beast began Monday with jury selection. 41-year-old Keith Gibson, seen here, is accused in the deaths of several people in Delaware and Pennsylvania during a violent crime spree back in 2021. You may remember this. A jury panel of 12 was selected for the trial of Gibson, who is being tried for the killings of an Ellesmere cell phone store manager and a Wilmington man in 2 separate robberies. The fatal shootings are among a host of charges against the man outlined in a 41-count indictment, including assault and attempted murder in 2 other shootings in Wilmington. The Philadelphia District Attorney has approved murder charges against Gibson for the killings of his mother and a Philadelphia donut shop manager, as well as the deaths of 2 men found shot in the head inside of a store in Philadelphia's Germantown neighborhood. More than 80 people have been listed as potential witnesses at the trial, which is expected to last up to 4 weeks. Attorneys presented their opening statements today. Gibson, who has a long criminal history, is accused of going on a violent rampage shortly after being released in December of 2020 from a Delaware prison where he served about 13 years for manslaughter. And a special Wilmington City Council meeting, which was supposed to happen last night, was canceled. At this meeting, the council was to vote on an ordinance to amend Wilmington's 5-year residency period requirement and establish the geographical boundaries within the city of Wilmington limits. Now, the meeting was supposed to be open to the public so that members of the public could sign up to speak before the meeting started. There has been no word on the rescheduling of this meeting or where the 5-year residency period requirement stands at the current moment. And the Republican who received the party's most votes among statewide candidates in the 2020 Delaware general election is trying again, but this time for a different office. Danielle Hall, who received nearly 41% of the vote, ultimately losing it to Lieutenant Governor campaign Bethany Hall Long in 2020, announced that she will run for the U.S. House in 2024. The United States Air Force veteran says that she would like to see Delaware put into place a more robust school choice option seen in other states that could extend to private schools. She says Delawareans have been hurt at the pocketbooks by Delaware's minimum wage that, as you know, will extend to $15 by 2025, and she cites inflation. Hall is the first Republican to declare a candidacy for U.S. House seat being vacated by Lisa Blunt Rochester, who is running for Senator Tom Carper's seat. Treasurer Colleen Davis, State Senator Sarah McBride, and Delaware State Housing Authority Director Eugene Young have all announced bids for the Democratic nomination. And sticking with politics, Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long has issued an update on her run for governor after she announced last month that her campaign finances were being audited. Summit CPA, a Delaware-based certified public accounting firm, was brought on board to audit Hall Long's campaign finances. As part of the audit, the firm reviewed hundreds of receipts of campaign-related expenses as well as loans and Bethany and her husband made back during her first campaign for statewide office in 2016. While reporting errors were made, they determined that Bethany and her husband lent more for campaign-related expenses over the course of prior campaigns than they were reimbursed for. So no wrongdoing or violations were found according to this audit. The firm found that Hall Long and her husband covered various campaign-related expenses using personal credit cards and loans that were not accurately reflected in previous campaign finance reports. Hall Long halted all fundraising efforts last month following the announcement of the audit. Now moving forward, she says she's ready to resume fundraising and move forward with the campaign. Hall Long is set to face Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer in the Delaware primary election that's set for September 3rd, 2024. And the Food and Drug Administration is flagging eye drops for risk of blindness. The FDA warns against buying or using some over-the-counter eye drops from major brands due to potential risk of vision loss. The FDA flagged 27 eye care products from CVS Health, Rite Aid, Target, Walmart, and other stores. The FDA recommended the manufacturer of these products recall all lots after investigators found insanitary conditions in the manufacturing facility. The agency also found positive bacterial test results from environmental sampling of critical drug production areas within the facility. Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target are removing the products from their store shelves and websites, while products branded as Leader, Rugby, and Velocity may still be available to purchase in stores and online. The FDA warns that those products should not be purchased. For a full list of the 27 eye care products the FDA has flagged, head to the website seen there on your screen. And many of us in the first state were hit with the news of higher water rates announced earlier this year, so a rate reduction from another utility is hopefully some pleasant news for you. Starting in November, Delmarva Power is lowering the gas cost rate by 18%. Based on this adjusted rate, the average residential gas customer would see a total monthly decrease in their bill of about $16. The decrease affects just the cost of gas, however, which Delmarva Power says is a direct pass-through cost to consumers with no markup and is typically adjusted annually, but may be adjusted during the year due to rising or falling market prices. As part of its effort to reduce the impact of increases in the cost of gas, Delmarva Power purchases and stores about half the natural gas needed to meet winter demand in the summer when prices are generally lower. And it's a good thing the rate is going down now. The World Bank warns that a major escalation of the war between Israel and Hamas could send oil prices surging as much as 75%. And as we sign off this evening, we asked our viewers on our social media pages to send us their favorite Halloween costumes. So whether you went to a party this past weekend, participated in a trunk or treat event, or actually trick-or-treating tonight, let's take a look at some of those hottest costumes around Delaware for 2023. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow night.